Well, I had one other item, and then we can go into whatever else you want. And it has to do with Colorado Springs Utilities. And I made a comment at your last council formal session. And I'm going to pass out to you a couple things here. I know you have, I believe you have a public hearing on the utilities budget on the 19th of November. And I want to ask your consideration again of having utilities give you and me and the public more detail in a limited extent. I know it's too late to do a total recasting of the budget, but it is not too late in my view, at least in the area of human resources, to have some specificity as to what the plan is for next year. The other thing I'm going to hand out to you is a copy of something Carl Skinner gave us, which is from the government. Boy, that's a lot of paperwork. They have a lot of standards, don't they? You pass this around, please. It's the Government Finance Officers Association guidelines on budgeting. I asked Laura and Carl, how did we get to this point of how we present the budget? Was that dictated by City Council, by the auditor, by some other body? And I was told that we try to follow Government Finance Officers Association guidelines, which is the generally respected authority on best practices and governance of various levels, including municipalities. And so that's how we got to having more specificity in our budget. And it's a lot of paper, but when you look through there, it says, for example, criteria, the document should include a coherent statement of organization-wide strategic goals and strategies that address long-term concerns and issues. That may be partly already being done. On page 5, it says, documents shall present a summary of major revenues and expenditures, as well as other financial sources and uses to provide an overview of the total resources budgeted. And then on page 11, and this is mandatory from the GFOA best practices guidelines, on page 11, item 03, mandatory, a schedule or summary table of personnel or position counts for prior, current, and budgeted years shall be provided. We're talking about HR. For each department, an organization chart just like the sample from communications that shows very succinctly, here's the organization chart for that department. Here are the titles of the positions, and here are the number of people in each position. And then separately, somewhere on one page of salaries and benefits and operating costs and other expenditures for that department, going back, in our case, back to 2010 actual, 2011 actual, 2012 original budget, 2012 amended budget, and of course 2013 budget. I hope you agree that really gives you a very good picture in an executive summary format of what's going on in that department. So I'm asking you, along with your colleagues, to consider asking utilities to at least accomplish this for the 19th hearing. I don't see why they can't. They must have an organization chart for each department. And they must internally know what they intend to spend in each department on HR. And then longer term, I would just submit consideration. I'm now speaking as still the mayor, but also in my other role as ex officio, as soon as I have no authority, of course, but the utility board. There are other utilities, a lot of other utilities around the country who comply with the GFOA standards for budgeting. And I would hope you'd at least have a conversation with utilities management about what are the pros and cons of our utility following the same practice, so that you get, and maybe we need to make some changes in the end, but so that ultimately you get a budget from the municipal government and one from utilities that are similar, at least as to the human relations, human resources, if not all of the administrative part of each budget.
I'll just ask you a quick question just so I understand. Human relations, you don't mean just the human relations department like that Mike Sullivan manages, but you're looking for all of the employees of the utility company and the breakdowns and where they fit in the organization, correct?
Right. If you look at our budget, you see an organization chart for each department. You see a one-page summary of historical and projected expenses for that department, salaries and benefits, operating costs, capital outlay. It just makes sense that I think we should know more about that. And I'll be honest with you. I'm wondering why we have 24 people in communications and utilities. Now, I know they don't title everybody as communications people. But that's what it looks like. And maybe we're wrong in that. Maybe I'm wrong in that perception, but I'd like to know. And what they do. And we're asking ourselves, I'm asking our staff here, to go back and start over in every department with zero, no people, no money. And I think it's appropriate for all of us to do that, including Colorado Springs Utilities, respectfully. All right?
You know, I'm gonna, I don't know if I have
Are you laughing? Do you think I told a joke or what?
No, I'm laughing because, you know, I've been asking for this for 3 months. And I have, literally, 3 months ago, I asked, you know, for different breakouts in different departments. I asked for the more transparency. On the actual board meeting last, utilities board meeting, I asked, I believe, for 17 different breakouts. I asked for even simple things like, okay, you're doing advertising. I've always been told that advertising was a federal mandate, that we had to spend so many dollars to tell people to conserve. And then I find out, no, that's not actually true. I don't know when it changed. So I said, I want a breakout. How much are we spending? I see them every morning on my morning news. I want to see how much we're spending with each station. Okay, we'll get back to you. I'm laughing because it's so frustrating for me because I've been asking the same thing. And I don't think it's only important for the others of us sitting at this table. I think it's important for our ratepayers. Because you look at that budget, it is the most confounded budget because there's nothing you can pull out and say this. It is lumped together. You don't understand salaries, you can't understand pensions, you can't even understand who goes on a water tour and who decides and who doesn't. And that's a little thing, but sometimes you have to start with the little. I have been asking for 3 months. I specifically asked, I believe, for 17 different areas in the last board meeting. I asked again, when is this going to come to the public? And I got told I'm going to get a memo. So, and the reason I'm frustrated, I'm there too. I believe absolutely we should be doing this, and I don't know what else to do, so thank you for speaking up.
Maybe you can start, and I know it's not very much notice. But if you've got 19, utility says 19 days to get this ready, it's 3 pages. I just don't see how that's not possible in 19 days. Now, the rest of it is pretty complicated. To get up to this level of standards, and I think that would take through the next budget cycle.
And we could even just do the budget that actually has some discretionary, the long-term